Hello, my amazing Algebra Half students. This is Mrs. A, and I love math. Well, today we're doing lesson 131 in the second edition book, Blue Book, and it does not seem to have a correlation with the third edition. I started this whole series because I'm trying to help my sweet granddaughter, Hannah, hi Hannah, with her math, and she's using edition 3, but I have edition 2. So I have matched the two up together, but lesson 131 does not seem to have a correlating section in edition 3, but it's very necessary for the last section in my book, which is lesson 85 in the third edition. So I have to do this one before I can do lesson 85, which is all about graphing lines. So we're going to learn today about the rectangular coordinate system, and we're going to just talk about it so that you can understand what it is, and then we're going to start using it to graph points. So this is a picture of our rectangular coordinate system, and you can see that I have two lines, and the two lines are perpendicular, which means that they intersect at right angles. So I can put a little box in here to show that there is a right angle, 90 degrees, between these, and of course all of them are right angles. And we call this line here the x-axis, and this line here the y-axis. And of course they're lines, so they go on forever in both directions. And they intersect at this point called the origin. And the origin is the point 0, 0. It's the 0 point on this line, so everything on this side would be positive, and everything on this side would be negative. And it's the 0 on this line as well. It is everything above here would be positive in the y direction, and everything down here would be negative. So we have these four lines are dividing up the plane. We can think of this board as a plane, the flat surface, dividing it up into 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants. Okay, so the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. And the quadrants always go that direction, and you will understand more about that when you get into higher math, why they go in that order. Okay, so we're going to be plotting points, and all of the points that we plot will be called ordered pairs, and the x coordinate goes first, and it tells us what is the value on the x-axis that the point starts on. So it is the left-right direction, and then the y-coordinate is the up-down direction of the point. So now we're going to do some examples. All right, so here's our first example, and my points aren't exactly like the ones in the book, but they're close enough that we'll get a good idea of how to read a point on the graph, and then we'll graph some. So basically, what is this point? What is the name or the coordinate of that point? So the first thing I'll do, remember that anytime we do an ordered pair, the first value is the left-right motion. So I'm starting at 0, 0, and it looks like this one is right above this mark here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 steps to the right from the 0 mark. 1, 2, 3. And I should have these labeled here to make it a little bit easier for you. Okay, so 3 steps to the right. So 3 goes right here. It's kind of like a treasure map. Okay, so we're going to go 3 steps to the right, and how many steps up before we start digging for gold? Okay, so on the y, we're going to follow this coordinate scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the y axis. So 1, 2, 3 steps right, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps up, and I get my point 3, 5 is right there. It's 3 steps right and 5 steps up. Then I start digging for treasure. Okay, so in the second quadrant, all of the points in the first quadrant will be positive points because they're going right and up, which are the positive directions. But here we are in the second quadrant. So now we're moving left, which is a negative direction on the x, but we're still moving up, which is a positive direction on the y. So every point in the second quadrant will be a negative positive point, left and up. So this point right here looks like it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps negative. So the name of the point would be -6 on the x. And then 1, 2 steps up. So that point is -6, 2. Left and up is second quadrant. The third quadrant is left and down. So everything in the third quadrant will be a negative point. So here we did not move very far negative. We only moved 1 point negative. So -1, 0. -1, 0. And that point is actually on the axis, and it's not in a quadrant. It's on the axis. Okay, so it's not in a quadrant at all. -1, 0, because it's not moving up or down. It stays right on the x-axis, so therefore its distance from the x-axis is 0. The point is -1, 0. So in the fourth quadrant, we have this point down here. Now everything in the fourth quadrant is right and down. So it's going to be positive, negative for every point in this quadrant. And it looks like we're going 1, 2, 3, 4 steps right and 1, 2, 3, 4 steps down. So 4 steps right and 4 steps down would be -4. And that is how we can name a point that we see on the rectangular coordinate grid. Okay, so now we're given the coordinates and we're graphing them. So 4, 2 is positive, so it will be in this quadrant. Starting at 0, 0, we go 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to the right and 2 steps up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and we start to dig for treasure. So that point is 4, 2. Here is 4, -3. 4 positive and negative. Positive and then negative is going to be in the fourth quadrant. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to have a fourth quadrant point. We're going to go 4 steps right, but 3 steps down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and where they meet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, -3 is right here, and that will be a fourth quadrant point. So this one is -4, -3, which is going to go 4 steps to the left and 3 steps down. So 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to the left, and then 1, 2, 3 steps down. We plot our point, and that point is -4, -3. Easy, huh? Okay, so this is our last example, and then we'll do some practices. We were told to sketch a rectangular coordinate grid. Now, we can go ahead and put marks on here, but really, the rectangular coordinate grid is not too fancy. Okay, you can spend a lot of time labeling everything, but we're just going to put the points on there real quickly. So -3, 2 is 1, 2, 3 left and 1, 2 up. So that's -3, 2. And 4, -1 is +4, -1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in the positive direction, 1 in the negative direction, 4, -1. And that's all there is to it. Really is pretty simple. All right, this is your practice problem. We're told to make a sketch of a coordinate grid, and so we're going to make the y-axis, the x-axis. We can put a couple of hack marks on there. Okay, and we're going to graph these 4 points. So, pause your video. Okay, so -4, -3, left and down will be in the third quadrant. -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So, -4, -3. -4, +2. So, -4, +2. 3, -2, so +3, -2, 1, 2, 3, down 2, 3, -2, and +3, +5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's way up there. I don't even have to label it because it's already labeled. And we are done. Remember quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. This is your positive, positive. This is your negative, positive. This is your negative, negative. And your positive, negative. This is Mrs. A, and may God bless your day.